This channel is made possible by viewers like you. My viewers, subscribers, and patrons greatly help to keep this channel going. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all of you. Please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any uploads. And if you'd like to go the extra mile, please check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you'll get access to what I'm working on, previews of upcoming content, and even early videos, along with other tier options for those that are interested. Thank you, and now on to the video. I frequently talk about the positives of the indie space. It feels like if you are bored or even take issue with the AAA scene and you want to find something more interesting, then you should probably venture over to this space to find something that interests you. You're bound to find something. It feels like a space full of endless possibilities. Each day, more and more games are being made and coming out, and for the indie scene, it can seem like an endless amount. Now sure, this can often lead to having a bunch of low-effort, shovelware type stuff. That is bound to happen, and sadly this can clog up the search of what you want, because what you want are to find those gems, those games that feel like passion projects, the type of thing where you pick up and play it, and say this feels like it was actually made by a gamer, but with the talent of a developer. It's this fantastic mixture, and especially here on this channel, when I find or run into these types of things, I want to talk about them. I had the developer of Forgive Me Father 2 reach out to me, and I jumped at the opportunity to try out their game. I had played some of the first while it was in their early access stage, so I wanted to see what they were doing here with this one. I had a positive experience with the first game, and I can happily say that the second game is good solid fun, and maybe even a bit underrated too. Now, I've said this before in other videos, but while playing Forgive Me Father 2, this hit me as a good example. The introduction here is rather good. I always love a game that can manage to get you into the good stuff right away. Hitting start and being able to dive into some form of meaningful gameplay immerses the player from the start, and honestly just gets them to the good bits quickly. Build-up is important too, but if you take too long, the player may disengage, and get bored or even worse, move on. With Forgive Me Father 2, there is a fun escalation in the first level, where you start out with a knife, and then that arsenal grows as you go on. Each weapon is a tool, and none of them feel useless. The first level invites the player in, and gives them plenty of reasons to stay. From the overall look and style of the game, the minute-to-minute gameplay, and even the horror feel too. This is a great example of making a strong first impression. I should touch on some of the more obvious bits here. The action here is great, and man does the game really look good. Each of the weapons I toyed around with are fun, satisfying, and impactful. The revolver has a nice bang, the shotgun sounds powerful, and the knife has a set of satisfying slashing sound. And this game is just chunky with plenty of blood. It all fits with the art style. It's almost like you're playing a graphic novel or comic book. Panels are jumping off of the page. Something else I want to point out here is that it seems to have some survival horror-like influences. At least early on, the game is very dark, and it's used as an effective tool to create an inviting, yet mysterious environments. I also found myself watching my shots, and not wasting my ammo. I even preferred to use my knife in certain instances so I could save my ammo, to allow myself to have a potential leg up in an upcoming firefight. I did find it odd that I was asking these questions in a game like this. I found it to be a pleasant surprise, as there was this constant tension and then explosive battles that felt like they went all out. Maybe this is only something that stays for the early portion of the game, but either way, it makes for a compelling atmosphere that works in tandem with the art style, and solid first-person shooting action. We have a game that is more old school, but goes with a design that benefits from current tech. As another positive, I want to point out that style, and I love it here a lot. Where many big modern games go for photorealistic type of stuff, I love how this developer is going for something different visually, similar to how we used to see more developers go for different styles, like with Time Splitters being more cartoony. Here we get that comic-like look. More developers should take note of this, and try to make their own styles rather than realistic looking stuff. Honestly, I prefer this stuff more. want to further touch on a point that I made earlier in this video. So when it comes to my history with these games, I had the opportunity to play the first while it was in early access. I really enjoyed it. The wonderful art style mixed with the over-the-top violence was a nice mixture. And I was really happy to see that this wasn't just a game with a cool art style, but rather it also grabbed you with its gameplay too. It had both of these going for it. Sadly, the first game got away from me as it received updates and its full release. It's something that I very much want to go back to and give it a proper go, now that it has been fully released and with its sequel out too. I feel like I should go back and really appreciate this first game, especially while playing this sequel, because both are really fun. The indie space is flooded with so many first-person shooters, many trying to capitalize on older styles, and gameplay that is not being seen in the AAA space. For me, Forgive Me Father, honestly both of them seem to hit a different note. They feel like they are their own thing, with such a great visual style. This is like a comic book horror first-person shooter. Yes, with the sequel, it's still in its early access stage. It's going to be a bit rough around the edges at times. The big ones I experienced were a lot of little graphical glitches that would pop up pretty much every time I turned a corner. I feel like much of this stuff will get ironed out as the game goes along. One thing I wonder is if additional modes will be added to the game. I feel like a roguelite mode might be a fun variation on a survival type of thing. To see here with this game, you have all these cool looking and fighting enemies along with weapons that really pack a punch. It might be cool to have a mode like this, to have an instant action type of thing, for either quick or longer play sessions. That is just a suggestion that came to me while playing this game. Forgive Me Father 2 seems like a solid sequel. So it has been a while since I played the first, so more experienced players can probably speak on the major differences better than I can right now. But what I can say is that both titles are honestly very fun. While I understand that the sequel is in its early access state, I still think the game deserves some more attention. I really love the mixture of the action with the horror, from how it feels and looks. Like I said before, the game can even feel like a survival horror title at times, especially in that really fun first level. I hope this developer continues to have good opportunities to connect with their audience during this early access phase. This is definitely a fun title to check out now or at its full release, and I think it's kind of underrated too. Have you played Forgive Me Father 2? Or even played the first? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you can help to keep this channel going strong, and this allows me to be able to do more for my awesome audience. Please check out the links in the description and pinned comment for ways to support the channel. And most of all, thank you very much for watching.